You Can Become a Hero by our friend account on AO3. Episode 16. Chapter 13. Got what you wanted? It took Dabi less than 2 weeks of carefully maneuvering through Endeavor's agency in order for him to hide all the bombs. As the days passed, less people suspected and watched over his every move. They treated him as though he deserved to be there, which only made his sinister deeds that much easier to get through. Each day, he suffered a grueling shift alongside Endeavor. He watched the hours tick by as he did paperwork, or was sent out on the field along with the Flame Hero. The moment the little hand came to the 5 on the far office wall, he'd race out of the agency and back home. Hawks usually arrived 2 hours later, also eagerly awaiting a long sessions of cuddles and kisses. Dabi loved it. Being cooped up in their little cozy apartment, sharing the same bed with some shitty program blaring in the background, was the most at home Dabi had felt in years. He enjoyed laying back in the fluffy blankets, looking up to Hawks as he straddled him, leaning down to connect their lips in a lazy kiss. If he had a choice, he'd want to be cherished and loved by Hawks every hour of the day. He couldn't help but dutifully think that this would change when Hawks became the #1 hero. He didn't want to think about it, but it slipped into his thoughts as Hawks sucked on a spot on his collarbone, hips running against Dabi's as he moved. It wouldn't be too much longer until Hawks would come home too tired to move an inch further. Dabi would need to help him to bed, make sure he was significantly fed and bathed until the morning came. "Dabi?" Hawks murmured, pulling away with his eyebrows furrowed. "You okay?" "Mm-hmm." Dabi tilted his head. "I'm fine." "Rough shift?" Hawks asked, wings fluttering a little. Dabi noted how many feathers were missing, but hadn't said anything when he first saw Hawks come in and flop down onto the bed. Hawks didn't seem hurt at all, which relieved Dabi. He wasn't one to fret over Hawks and what he was doing, but he did like seeing him come home every day without too many injuries. Dabi didn't have a phone still, but he sometimes sent emails to Hawks if he was bored. The hero rarely answered, too busy to respond. Dabi didn't mind. "Being a hero is tough." Dabi shrugged, hands slowly running up and down his partner's thighs. "No clue how you could pull this off." "It takes a while to get used to, but the love of getting days off never goes away." Hawks smiled, settling down into his chin rested on Dabi's chest, eyes looking up warmly. Dabi reached his hand up and mushed his hands through the blonde's messy locks. His partner smiled, allowing him to tangle his fingers through. It was peaceful. Dabi wasn't certain he was ready for the chaos that would wipe over the city once he blew up the agency. Hawks would undoubtedly be sad over the deaths of some of the heroes in the building. Dabi likely would need to hold him as his body jolted from the sobs, his hiccups echoing deep into the night, desperate for some solace. Dabi would be his light. When Dabi pressed down on the detonation button, starting off towards Endeavor's agency, he felt something in his stomach tense. No explosion occurred, but he had a feeling it wasn't because of a malfunction in the remote. His cigar dropped from his lips as he stared off into the distance, not turning around as the door to the rooftop opened. "Got a call from Endeavor." "Is that so?" Dabi turned to face Hawks. He didn't seem upset. He sounded weird. "Wants you to call him?" Hawks held out his phone, confusion evident on his tone. Dabi snatched the device, dialing up Endeavor's number. The hero answered in seconds. "You need to recheck the hiding places more than once before you do something that dumb." "Ah, so he's known for a while." "I just got news that the signal was retrieved to detonate them." "You actually tried to pull through with it." "What did you expect?" Dabi asked, staring Hawks a glance. The hero seemed to still not know what was going on. Maybe Endeavor really thought it was best not to tell anyone, and see what Dabi would do after removing the bombs. "I expected Toya." Endeavor replied quietly. "But now what I want you to answer is what do you want to do right now?" "What now?" Dabi shrugged to himself, uncertain of what to do after that failed attempt. It all came crumbling down so quickly. He hadn't really thought of what would happen if it backfired. Turning, he faced Hawks with a small smile on his lips. He swore he could distantly hear sirens, but he didn't care as he turned the call off and threw it to the ground. Before Hawks could protest, he enveloped him in his arms, holding his feathered partner as the cars got closer. I failed us, Dabi murmured quietly. Peace will come another day. Just not today. What? What do you mean? Did something happen? Hawks asked, leaning forward into his touch. Dabi knew it would be moments before he was shrinking bad, as though the touch of his scarred skin suddenly disgusted him. He hated for being so terrible, for being unable to finish Endeavor off. So he explained it to Hawks, in as simple terms as he could. And he got punched in the face. His cheeks burned as he stumbled back, feathers darting here and there to force him to fall despite his attempts to stay standing. Then, they stabbed into the ground through his clothes, keeping him pinned to the ground, hard, as Hawks loomed over him. You tried to what? I thought I made it clear, Dabi replied, though Hawks was in no good mood for a teasing tone. The smaller hero stepped forward, boots pressing down as he stepped on Dabi's chest, right below the beginning of his collar strip bone stitches. It was light enough that Dabi could breathe, but applied enough pressure to allow him to know the situation was serious. Hawks wasn't playing. After everything, you think this was for the best thing? To prove you're a hero? To show your gratitude? If those bombs went off, do you know how many people would have died? Sacrifices are necessary for revolution. Innocent deaths! Hawks hissed, pressing his foot down harder, mashing the heel into Dabi's ribs. He didn't cease, even when he heard an uncomfortable grunt from Dabi. I am so happy you realized how terrible it is here. I'm so fucking glad you took so much time to dedicate that you weren't ready for this change. You know what? It makes me happy to be strung along like an idiot for someone who didn't intend on becoming something better. Something better. Look at me, sweetheart. No hero looks like this. Dabi grinned, but it faded the moment Hawks' boot left his body. The winged hero turned and looked off the edge of the building. Below, sirens blasted in his ear, a clear warning of what was to come. He had to run or face the death penalty. There was no other option, but he didn't want to leave without Hawks. I hope you're proud of yourself. You don't have to pretend anymore. Hawks looked back at him, a large feather slipping into his fingers, as a warning. From his shaking, Dabi knew he wouldn't attack unless absolutely necessary, just like a true hero. Not to be something you're not, or to love someone you don't. I'm sorry I couldn't provide enough for you to be satisfied, but thank God for the League, right? You're true saviors. Hawks' tone rose as he finally yelled out, But where the fuck are they now? His feathers all sharpened at once, in a way Dabi had never seen before. He struggled to tug himself out of the feathers, but they were relentless. He only managed to slip up a little in order to catch sight of the tears streaming down Hawks' face. It hurt more than he thought it would. It might have been due to the fact that he thought the tears would be for a different reason. Are you even sorry? Do you even know what could have happened? Hawks stumbled a step as he tried to catch his breath, which slowly was becoming erratic as he kept rambling. Did you expect me to sit back idly as you run your shit show? Fuck that. No. I was doing it for us. It sounded so pathetic as it fell out of his lips. Hawks ignored the hushed words. You got what you fucking wanted. You chose chaos. You prove yourself worthy of the League once more, Mr. Big Shot. Did all your dreams come true? Was it worth it? Hawks. Dabi shook the hero awake violently. Hawks jumped awake, startled as he looked at his partner's blue eyes. Toya, what's wrong? Hawks asked, sitting up quickly and forcing the lamp cord down to light up the room. You're bleeding. He could feel it trickle down his cheek. He must have caught a staple in the blanket when he tossed in his sleep, enveloped in a nightmare. Regardless, he brushed it off in favor of pulling Hawks in a tight hug, burying his head in the hero's neck. I need you to call Angie. You have to tell me what's wrong first, babe. Hawks insisted, hand running through his partner's hair nervously. Dabi didn't move right away, nor did he explain himself. His head was reeling, his mind pulling itself apart as he thought of what to say. There was no way Hawks would ever accept his choice. Why did he think it would work? Because of revenge? Why couldn't he focus on other things? Why did anger fuel him? I need help. Hawks hugged him tightly. He felt warm. You have to say exactly what you need, or else I won't be able to. Lock me away. Dabi pleaded quietly. Put me in a ward. I don't fucking care. I don't know what I'm going to do if I don't get put away right now. Hawks tensed and nodded. He reached over and grabbed his phone, hands rushing over the buttons. As he waited for the call to come through, he continued to talk to Dabi. Hey, it's gonna be okay. Is it because of the graphs? Are you in pain? I made a mistake. Dabi continued, burying his head in his partner's neck, closing his eyes tightly. I will tell you when I'm away. I need to go away. Angie took only 20 minutes to show up. Hawks had already managed to relax Dabi, despite the fact that he was shaking, unable to let go of Hawks' wrists as he met his father's at the door. Angie walked Dabi, as Hawks packed a bag quickly for his partner, leaving Dabi enough time to steal a blanket, piece of paper, and a pen. Hand trembling, he drew up a map, folding it up for Angie before whispering. Get the thing on the roof away, and then these. Destroy them. I feel like I'm going fucking insane. Get rid of them. Angie seemed to stare at the map for a few minutes before it dawned on him exactly what was going on. He was quiet as Hawks led them outside to Angie's car, helping Dabi climb in. From there, they drove off as quickly as they could. Dabi should have known they needed to happen, from the breakdowns to convincing himself to destroying lives at even greater risk than any previous attempts with the League. He wasn't in the right mind. He couldn't fucking handle it anymore. It was as though he was battling against his mind, crossed between battling Hawks' hand away or holding them closer to dive any bit of comfort he could. I am sorry. I was wrong. Oh, we got strung along. I thought, oh my god, I am so glad that was a nightmare, and that did not happen. And I'm glad that Dabi is getting his care that he needs. As I said, I did not give a fucking rat's ass if he actually did hurt Endeavor or not. I don't care. I want game. I have my priorities straight, okay? I have my priorities straight. Also, forgot to mention, but I will now be having gameplay in my videos from here on forward. It's most likely just gonna be Stardew Valley, so yeah, that's all on that. So anyways, I actually do not know what's gonna go on from here. We have 2 chapters left, but I'm not sure if that translates to 2 episodes. Let me see. That does translate to 2 episodes. No, it translates more than 2 episodes. My bad. I'm high. I'm not high, guys. You guys, I promise I'm not high. Guys, I don't smoke. I promise I'm not high. Okay, so we have 3 chapters left, and that translates to 3 episodes left, right? So I actually need to start looking at the next fic that's going to take over this one. A talk that could be delayed is the next one. Toya cries at the end of this chapter. That's the summary. Notes. I'm not a fan of dialogue, but I couldn't bring myself to make the talks that is going to be said any smaller than it is. Hope you enjoy. I love dialogue. Anyways, this was really cool. I really hope that we have a happy ending. I want a happy ending. What is gonna happen to Dabi? Is Dabi gonna be put in a psych ward? Is Dabi... I hope he is not, like, he's put in a mental health facility. Not, like, for criminally insane. Like, I mean, I hope he actually gets the help he needs. Like, genuinely. I know there's a lot of stigma against psych wards and mental health facilities and stuff like that, but trust me, it could be healing. It might not be the answer for most, right? But sometimes it is necessary. Ignore me there in Stardew Valley. I was waiting for a certain someone to come out their door. But I do not know what I thought I was gonna do waiting. He does not come out till 12. You can tell that I'm getting desperate. I'm like, please come out. Please come out. I'm checking, like, have I given him a gift? Have I talked to him? How many hearts do I have? I'm romancing Elliot. Just ignore that. But I really hope that Dabi gets the help, or sorry, I should be calling him Toya, my bad. Toya gets the help that he deserves and needs. You know, I hope that he gets what it's. I know that's, like, as I said, there's stigma against it, but it can be healing. Yes, there is horror stories out there, but you also have to keep in mind anything can have a horror story. I'm sure that there are stories on people who went to Disney and had the shittiest day of their fucking lives. That does not mean that if you go to Disney, you'll have the shittiest day of your life. Yes, there are stories of psych wards and mental health facilities out there where they have the most shittiest time. Same with therapy, where they have the most shittiest time, or it was a really bad experience. That does not mean that you're gonna have a bad experience, right? And it's best to try, especially in Dabi's case, so I hope he gets the help that he needs. As always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.